This is the Anis Requiem, described as arriving in late 1967 and a vehicle that wowed the American public. This low-slung two-door sports coupe packing a 3.2-liter inline-six told Detroit that Anis meant business. It was the first import to make a serious threat to the muscle cars, especially once people found out the potential of that engine. And to this day, this car is still a tuner icon due to that fantastic motor and its small but incredibly versatile chassis. So we're going to be taking a look at this vehicle today. Its customization, liveries, upgrades, and so much more. And right off the bat, you can see just how beautiful this vehicle is. And with the rumored next update kind of around the corner and it being a hipster or retro theme, I think a vehicle like this would be absolutely perfect to be introduced into Grand Theft Auto Online. So let's jump into this vehicle and let's actually take this to the LSC where we can do a ton of upgrades and modifications to this vehicle. So the first thing we're going to be able to do is upgrade the bumper. Now there's options for the front and rear. On the front bumper, we have stock, sturdy, custom, race, street, and then safari, bull bar, and lights. Now, my objective for this car was to try and keep it as clean as I could. You could really come up with some crazy combinations, as you can see from the front bumpers right there, but I want to keep it as clean as I could. And on the back, you have stock, tow hook, Surikawa, sturdy bumper, and custom bumper. And I ended up going with the sturdy bumper as I felt like it was simple, but it was enough of an upgrade to visually still look really cool. So those were the front and rear bumper options. There was also an option to upgrade the chassis and apply a roll cage to this vehicle. However, I didn't want to do that. Again, I was going for a little bit more of a cleaner look on this car, so I didn't do that. After that, we have the exhaust options. There's stock, twin, tuner, big bore, Shakotan, and then dual shotgun. So once again, I was going for the cleanest look possible, so I didn't want to go for the tuner one or the big bore. So I ended up going with the dual shotgun exhaust, which I thought was really clean and looked quite nice. And then you have options for the fenders, and because this is a mod, this does get a little bit complicated. So there's fenders for the left side and the right side, although the top part is for the actual fenders and then the bottom part is for the splitter on the front. So again, that's why it gets a little bit confusing. So I ended up going with the vintage splitter. Again, I was kind of going for a more of a retro look here. And then as far as the splitter goes, I ended up going for the street one. Now there's some others as well, like the Grosjean and the race splitter. And there was a couple other fender options that were really extreme, but I ended up going with the vintage and the sort of street combination, which I actually thought turned out quite nice. Now after that, we have options for the grille. There's stock, classic, custom, and black. I ended up going with the horizontal bars of the custom grille. On the black windshield, you could have the option to add the black kind of folds that you see on the Dominator in-game. However, I didn't want to do a crazy upgraded car, so I wasn't going to go with that, so I ended up completely removing that. As far as spoiler options goes, we have two of them, race spoiler, and then we have ducktail spoiler. I ended up going with the ducktail one. I thought that actually looked quite nice. And then from there, it's upgrading transmission, turbo, wheels, stuff like that. Now, outside of the Los Santos Custom Shop, there is a fair number of things that we can do to this vehicle, which is actually pretty cool. Starting with the engine block. So you can have the stock engine block, the retro cam cover, or the performance cam cover, which is pretty awesome if you have your hood up for car shows and stuff like that. I ended up going with the retro cam cover one. After that, you have air filters, you have stock, twin turbo, and side draft carburetors. I ended up going with twin turbo here as I feel like it filled it out the best. That's the one I ended up going with. After that, you have arch covers, which is really just taped headlights versus non-taped headlights. And I thought this would look pretty cool, so I ended up going with the taped headlights. And then after that, you have aerials, which are essentially just fog lights that you can put on the vehicle. So there's hood-mounted ones and grill-mounted ones. However, because I wanted to go for a cleaner look, I ended up not applying any of them. Now, after that, we have the liveries. Now, there's 10 liveries. Some of them are pretty similar to each other. Some of them are not. The first three are very similar. They're Turbo R, Black, White, and Turbo R Special. So the only thing the Turbo R livery does is put two thin stripes going along the door panel and then Turbo R right at the door sill right there. So that's pretty cool. Now, for the color I had on this, the black didn't look all that great. The white looked really good, but I was a huge fan of the special one, which kind of gave off this like 80s vibe of like kind of turquoise green, light blue, dark blue. I thought it looked pretty cool. Maybe not necessarily with the color that I had on right there, but it still looks pretty awesome. So those are the 3 Turbo R ones. After that, you have 3 Benny's ones, Benny's white, black, and gold. It's pretty simple. On the door sill, you have Benny's Original Motorworks and kind of a wrench logo, which is kind of cool. So the white one looked really good. The black one, not so much on this color. And the gold one was also pretty cool. I liked that, and that probably would have looked nice on a couple of other cars. So those are the 3 Benny ones. After that, we have Retro Racer, our first pretty complex livery, which adds sort of a red retro vibe to it. Red fills all over the place. There's a 78 sort of decal on the hood and on the side door. There's some text on the back as well. I think this would look really good in sort of a red and white. It doesn't look all that great with the combination I have on there right now, but that is Retro Racer. After that, you have Safari. So Safari changes the hood to black. It adds liveries all over the place, sponsorships, decals. You have 11 written on the side. You have Fukuru, Chapal, Fuji. You know, you have a bunch of different sponsorships right there. So that's pretty awesome. It also makes like the taillight panel, that is turned black as well. And there's some sponsorships on the trunk too. So that is Safari. After that, you have Chapal Racing. This is probably the most modern and unique one. So it has 300 written on the roof, on the hood, on the door sill. It has Chapal sponsorships all over the place. It sort of has this mixture of red and yellow livery sponsorship with Cool Hand on there too. Pretty awesome stuff. So that is Chapal Racing. And then the last one is Derelict, which is kind of like this rusty sandpaper look. It's not like crazy beat up. It just looks very worn. That's sort of the vibe I'm getting right there. I wasn't a huge fan of this one. Probably the ones I liked the most were the Turbo R ones. So black, white, and the special one. And I'm a big fan of the 80s, so I really liked sort of the special one. So that's the one I went with right there. I made the entire car black, and then I just went with the Turbo R Special, which added a nice little pop of color on the side of the car and on the door sill as well. So overall, this car is incredibly beautiful. The interior is amazing. The details, the wood paneling, all of it looks so great. The, you know, sponsorships and liveries look really good too. Another thing I like is the taillights. They're really like bold and bright for these just big circles on the back, which actually looks pretty cool. I like the gas cap that you can see on the side. That's a nice little touch. It's the little details of stuff like this that really does make it pretty awesome. And yeah, this is the Anis Requiem. Again, this is a pretty cool car. It's pretty epic. I think this vehicle would be a perfect addition for a I'm Not a Hipster update part 2 or a retro update, as this kind of gives that late 60s, early 70s vibe that I think would be pretty awesome to see in online. Whether it's a coupe or a sports classic or a muscle, vehicles like this look incredibly cool. And if they have this level of detail and customization and liveries and mods and upgrades, that's even a better bonus. So like I said, this vehicle is awesome. Let me know what you think of it in the comments section down below. Would you like to see this vehicle added into Grand Theft Auto Online? I know I certainly would. If you guys did go and enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.